everyone. So, my original plan for this week's video was in fact a craft video, but when I opened the box to work on the project, most of the material was damaged. There was like no way to actually make a nice ASMR video with the kit I purchased. I'm pretty sure it was a fluke because the company I purchased from is usually very high with their quality check and standards. But I think maybe because the project had a lot of clay, maybe like it could have been a simple issue of the inventory being in the wrong climate and like it dried up all the clay. So I'm not here to actually review any of that, but it did cause a change of plans because I couldn't do a small craft project like I intended. So I decided today to talk about a subject that interests me a little bit. Let me see. I have a butterfly. It's in resin, and yes, it's real. And no, I don't remember where I got it from. I decided I want to discuss a little bit about butterflies and a little bit about moths. I actually only have a few preserved butterflies, but at the moment the other butterflies I have are sort of stuck to my wall pretty tightly. I used those sticky adhesives to stick them on the wall. I didn't use a nail, so it was going to be a bit of a hassle taking them down to do this video. What I wanted to talk about, I'm going to give you guys a very, very brief biology lesson, and I'm just going to talk about why I like butterflies, and I wanted to talk about ethical ways on purchasing real butterflies, because there's many people selling them these days. So let's begin with a brief introduction. So butterflies, moths, and another category called skippers, but I'm not too familiar with skippers. I only learned about them very recently. They all belong to a family called Lepidoptera. The Lepidoptera family is specific as far as insect categories go, for only skippers, moths, and butterflies. Now, when I went to a museum recently, they opened up a nursery for many varieties of butterflies. And when they were giving us a tour, what I thought was very interesting was they said all Lepidoptera species started as moths. So moths, hello moths, were actually the first insect, and they said butterflies came later. They mutated from moths because, well, there's exceptions to everything I say because there's thousands of variations, but in general, butterflies tend to be out in the daytime and moths tend to be out in the nighttime. you usually see butterflies as symbolic, or even moths as symbolic representations of something in a story, or as a metaphor, or just to symbolize springtime. Or sometimes, if you're looking at a fairy tale, they could be used to kind of show like an area or a realm where fairies reside, for example. So they were always creatures that fascinated me, and I always loved the colors on the wings. They're very translucent, and under different lights, you even on my camera, you can see that there's like slightly different tints on all the wings. So they all look like, even though it's like greenish blue, you can see like little yellow and a little hints of other colors. Well, most of it is because it's see-through, but I think you can still see that there's like a hint of color in the wings. It's kind of like greenish blue. I'm sure when it was alive, it was even more beautiful. So that actually brings me to a good point. I also wanted to talk about if you're on the lookout for preserved butterflies. There, you can kind of see the blue better when there's like a backing under it. I was just trying to find a good image for moths because like I said, I do not have any moths in my collection, unfortunately. But regarding butterflies or moths or whatever, if you're interested in collecting these, an ethical way you can go about it is to buy them from antique shops or flea markets, because usually they're going to have like collections that are from like 30 or 40 years ago, and they're very old, so you're not buying new ones. But if you want to buy new, which I have done, there's a lot of artisans and craft sellers. They work with together with conservatories and butterfly nurseries and even museums, because I'm pretty sure I got this at a museum where they're not harvesting the butterflies and moths and killing them prematurely. They let them live out their life like in a nursery or whatever, and these insects do not have a very long lifespan. Some do, some don't. But after they pass away from a natural death, no one is killing them, then sometimes they'll pick them up and preserve them like this. So my opinion is, if you want to get them new, you should try to find artisan or craft sellers that are working with wildlife conservatories or nurseries for butterflies and moths, because those conservatories, they are also trying to help with breeding, and they want to grow the populations. So usually, sometimes the craft sellers that work with them, they also donate funds to help support that as well. You can, oh goodness, I bought some of these so many years ago. I have to look at my old receipts for names, but if you want to find good sellers that make an effort with the conservatories, try looking on Etsy first, and just read the crafters' profiles and see where they're sourcing them from. I would not recommend buying from a random seller on Instagram or any social media site unless you know like where they're getting where they're sourcing these from. I'm trying to think what else. These are, well, that's all I can offer as far as advice on buying these. And Etsy does not have to be like the only site. You can check gift shops from museums, but again, you can check if the museums have their own like conservatories or like wildlife places or botanical gardens. Sometimes they have wildlife conservatories too. And at least you know that those butterflies were well taken care of while they were alive. Okay, so we're done with my butterfly. I want to say regarding moths, a lot of people think butterflies are pretty, but they see moths as ugly creatures. And for me, even as a child, I always thought moths were very pretty because I never saw these brown moths in real life. Most of the time, when I did see moths, they were the pretty white ones, and they were very small. I think most people see these as a nuisance, however, because moths have a tendency to go out and eat clothing. So if you have them in the house, they can go into your wardrobe or dresser and, start munching on the fabric. It never bothered me though. I like moths just as much as I like butterflies. Honestly, I am very particular about what insects I do like. I like ladybugs too. And I think maybe there's probably one or two other cute looking insect creatures, but insects as a whole, I'm not very fond of them. The majority of them, I do find them kind of creepy and scary. I don't like roaches, sorry, but butterflies were always very beautiful and relaxing when I looked at them, and I always thought that they were very like comforting creatures to have around. So it could be very like an environmental thing, like how you're raised and what you start associating certain animals with. But yeah, I might show you guys my collection one day if I successfully take the frames out without damaging the wall. But for now, I think this is all I'm gonna show you. Since like this week's video ended up being quite last minute, since unfortunately my original planned video did not go how I wanted, but it's okay. That's how you learn how to improvise, right? Next week, I'll figure out what I'll do for next week, but I think I'm going to end it here, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a pleasant week, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.